Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing a 2017 SIHH launch from Jaeger-LeCoultre. This is the Master Ultra-Thin Réserve de Marche. It is one of the latest in a long line of automatic winding power reserve complications from Jaeger-LeCoultre, dating back to the 1948 bumper automatic caliber 481 Powermatic watch. So this is of that long-running lineage. It's 39 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel, 10 millimeters thick, 45.7 millimeters, and 21 millimeters is the spacing between the lugs. Now on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, the watch is very thin. I'm not sure 10 qualifies as ultra thin, but it is quite a bit slimmer and more appealing than the master watches of the 2000s, which tended to be, above all, very thick. So on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist, there's no fit issues. I would argue this could fit on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters, but what you're looking at is constriction of my wrist because the strap is brand new and not very flexible. If the strap were perfectly flexible, you would find that the lugs were nowhere near the edge of my wrist as viewed from over the top or down the barrel. Again, look at the cuff shot. Thin, not ultra thin, but still quite thin enough to fit underneath the sleeve. The strap is not broken in, but the flip side of that is it's brand new. It is a blue semi-gloss finish, large rectangular scale, symmetrical scale alligator leather on the top. You can see it has a folded edge, a monotone stitch, a little bit of bolstering adjacent to the lugs. Uses a curved spring bar, so there's no impingement to its motion against the case. It is calfskin on the bottom, and then we have the pull tab spring bars that JLC has been using in recent years, so you can easily remove the strap from the case without tools. We also have JLC's most recent deployant clasp in steel, like the case. You can see there's a push button on it, so you can remove the buckle from the strap, just as you can remove the strap from the case, making it truly flawless, seamless, and almost instantaneous to swap straps on a watch. Taking a look at the case band, it's thin. Not ultra thin, but thin. Beautifully rounded. We have a setback case back, which is a trick that's been around since at least the 1930s to make a watch look even thinner than it is when it's actually nestled down on the wrist. You can see that the lugs taper to I would say a dull point, but they taper to a point nonetheless. Now you can see there's also a little bit of a very soft bevel on the edges of those lugs. We have a pusher adjuster for the radial date complication. You can see the JL logo on the crown. The case itself is highly rounded, but the bezel is fairly angular. You can see it has a sheer face that's somewhat inset from the case band to make the watch look thinner. Then it has a conical profile. Then it goes vertical. Then there's a very narrow, flat top. So there are 4 facets on this bezel before we get to the cambered sapphire. The dial, which is the star of the show, is a combination of a brushed metallic sunburst, and then there's blue lacquer applied by hand over that to create this wonderful shaded metallic blue, which is very special. We have a power reserve indicator. You can see alpha hands for the sub-registers, Dauphine hands for the time, a Lancet seconds hand, and the little power reserve indicator, you can actually move it manually if you wish. It's an automatic watch, but if you want to see it move, you just wind the watch manually. The watch has a 43-hour power reserve. You can see we have concentric patterns inside the radial date, as well as the crosshair sub-seconds. Someone's going to ask, so just to definitively prove there is no loom on this watch as there is on other master models, which creates a cleaner, more luxurious dial. Most pure dress watches do not have loom, but we do have faceted rhodium-plated steel dart-style indices, and then we have half-frosted Dauphines at center for better contrast against the dial base. Now pull the crown out. There is a stop seconds function. The little pusher will adjust the date, and then you flip it all over, and you can see JLC caliber 938. This is based on the evolution of the historic 889. This one's a unidirectional winder with ceramic bearings rather than the 889's bidirectional with steel. This is also free sprung versus the Triovis micro adjustment system used on the old 889. It beats away at 4 hertz. And as you can see, it pivots on 41 joules. It features a combination of manual and mechanical finishing, befitting the price of the watch, but it is nicely decorated with real fired blue screws, and to me that's the highlight. We also have a surprising amount of water resistance. You can see 5-bar. JLC dress watches with few exceptions are 50 meters rather than the standard 30 of the industry. We also have the Master 1000 Hours Control, which originated in 1992 on the Master Grand Tie, and by 2004 had spread across every movement except the caliber 101 micro movement. So we have that here. It is well over 40 days, well over 41 I think, and a test of the fully assembled watch for shock resistance, water resistance, winding efficiency, power reserve, and precision. And I understand for a watch like this, the precision tolerance that they're looking for is no worse than -1 + 6 seconds per 24 hours. If you love this watch, reach out to me, T Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.